And what's up, guys and girls? Mpc Towns here. Today I'm going to be looking at the game Dawn of Fantasy Kingdom Wars, which is a Reverie World Studios game recently released on Steam. It is actually an Mmo Rts game, which is very unique, and you don't see this kind of thing quite often. The game itself hasn't been doing that well traffic-wise, so I'm hoping the Steam release, will increase the traffic to the game. And a lot of people have been asking me, because I had a preview video up, and people were saying, seriously, man, you should probably edit this. It's like, I don't want to just see the beginning of the game. I want to go in depth. So what I'm going to do for you guys today is go in depth with Dawn of Fantasy Kingdom Wars and show you guys the pros, the cons, and where your money's going with this game. Before we get started, guys and girls, this video here is sponsored by www.backstagevibe.com. It is a musician website. You're like, oh, music, kind of like an iTunes ripoff? No, it's not. It's actually really unique. Backstagevibe.com offers not just music, so it's kind of, a collaboration website where you put up your music, you sell your music, you can sell your gear, you collaborate, you talk to your fans, you build your events, so it's kind of an organizational thing. So if you are in the music industry, be sure to check it out. I'll have a link down below. Let's get into this. I'm pretty pumped. Alright guys, I am ready. Let's do this. Dawn of Fantasy Kingdom Wars. I'm going to go over the very first question that I get. What is an Mmo Rts game? Mmo Rts game is a massive multiplayer online real-time strategy game, and with the combination of MMO and RTS, generally they are separate categories. Today they are together because Reverie World Studios has made Dawn of Fantasy, which means MMO aspect of, leveling up is in the game. At the same time, real-time strategy, if you don't know what real-time strategy is, that means that while you're offline, your economy is still growing and such. For instance, you got games like Coloroma, Caesarea, Evoni, you see those boob ads all the time when they had that marketing strategy going. That's real-time strategy. MMO, for instance, you got an MMO RPG would be like World of Warcraft. So it's kind of a combination of those two. So let's say you kind of get the StarCraft elements, but real-time, so your economy is still booming while you're offline. So we have a single-player feature here. Really quick, we can look at it. What I do recommend, the way that you're probably like, well, what's the point in the single player? The single player is here. We have Kingdom Wars, Lay Siege, Castle Defend, tutorials. This is all here so that when you go onto the online kingdom, you're prepared. You can try out all your strategies offline, which I do, and I highly recommend it, because you'll run into situations where you're like, oh man, what do I do here? Well, offline, you're not actually messing with your economy, and you get the resources and the troops right away. So you can go through all these different modes, try them out, but I'm going to show you guys what makes this game so special and what you're going to be getting into. So first off, Online Kingdom. This is where it's at. So you'll make an account very quick. Doesn't cost anything extra. You buy the game. This will not cost anything extra, and they haven't announced if you'll be paying for it. I highly doubt it. And right here on the side, you can say, if you invite a friend, you'll get rewards, 120 wealth, and an ice dragon, which I highly recommend. This game does need to grow. Alright, as you guys can see here, I already have a town, and you can see the environment there. This is actually my elf one. This is the only one I've played so far, but you can see there are different slots for different races, so you can try it out. Let's say I want to have an orc town, an elf town, a human town, I can go ahead and do that. But we're going to go ahead, for the purpose of this video, is show you guys what you're looking at in terms of, races and the environments really quick. Alright guys and girls, so I just clicked new, we're looking at them. There are 3 races, men, elves, orcs, each with their own attributes. You can go on the main website, which I highly recommend, or any sort of forum and look at, different attributes between the elves and the actual environments themselves, and then you can play around and customize it. So let's go orcs for this tutorial purpose, and we're going to go to the next step, and we'll see what that is. And then you get to pick a region. As you can see here, each region has its own, kind of environment-like thing. I really like the desert with orcs. It's just something, I think in-game it's like that for me right now. And then you can see there's different traits. I believe you get 2 traits. Each trait has its own thing. Gatherers, looters. So let's look at one, for example, really quickly. Gatherers, skills gatherers grant this player tremendous economic boost. Deer and Homeland have 200% more food on them, which is a big deal. And then you can look at this stuff. Each one has its own benefits for the purpose of this video. And time constraint, we're going to go ahead. We're going to name this. And we're going to go ahead to the next step really quick. So this is it, Kingdom Review. And I mean, you guys are going to want to play with this, customize it, and we're going to get right into the game right now. Alright, now that you can see I just made the town, that is now added. So, I mean, they give you an extra slot here, which something's making me think they're going to add another race in the future. Because why would they have 4 when there are 3 races? I don't know. Maybe there will be. I'm not going to start any rumors. But let's go ahead and look at this town here. It's pretty small. It's pretty small. Now I'm going to show you guys how to make that thing grow. Alright guys and girls, so right off the bat when you get in the game, there is a story. They do stick with a story. I mean, I'm going to skip through this and get right into the gameplay, but there is a little story to go on about, you know, the environment, and I think that's important. I mean, it's not an insane story or anything like that, but it does put you into the environment, the feel, you know. For instance, Lord of the Rings franchise, you got your elves, your orcs, and humans as well, and it's very similar. It kind of follows that same, you know, language, you know, the way they speak and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into the gameplay for you guys and girls. Alright guys and girls, so right off the bat you can see we're logged in here, and you're probably like, what's going on? Where are the MMO elements? Where's the RTS elements? And we're going to go through that really quickly. So right off the bat, you can see here, we have a hero. This hero can level up, same with these units, but your hero can exceed the cap level. I think the cap level's 10. I could be wrong, but you get the idea. You level up your units themselves, and that's through, you know, fighting, and you can actually pay to get them trained as well. But the orc hero, he can exceed, you know, I don't know. I have a level 28 hero, for instance, on my elf, on the elf race, and you customize it. So if when you get the XP, which is through fighting or training, you can spend the gold to get trained or whatever. So it'll be a really big economy. I highly suggest that. Then you spend the points on 3 different damage reductions. So you got like your piercing, your pummel, and your arrow or whatever. I don't know, like slash, piercing, pummel, and then you can get attack, vitality, whatever. And you can do the same with your troops. So there's some MMO elements, you know, you're constantly leveling, and so there's some really quick MMO elements, you know, the whole leveling feature, and, you know, customizing the skill set to meet, you know, the expectations that you have for your army. You could get really strategic, go pure vitality on like your front line, and then damage on the back line with range or something, and you get the idea and how that can be applied to the RTS genre. So we're going to look at, you know, building the economy really quick, and what and how you actually interact, you know, with other players, because a lot of people are really interested in how that works, because it's a really interesting concept, and I'm going to show you guys that really quick. Alright, so I just selected these laborers here. Now this is different than the elf race. The elf race, there actually aren't any laborers, so you don't actually have people that build the buildings. It's actually the trees, and you use the trees and they build themselves. So that's a really big thing, and that's a happening thing for this game, is that they are beyond unique. Each race is beyond different, if that makes sense, between the others. So let's say we're going to increase the hut capacity or population cap. We can see the different stats up here. Now these are your resources. You got food, wood, stone, you got a resource cap, which I think mine's almost 30k on my elves right now, and you got your gold, and then your population and wealth. I'm going to go through how this works really quickly. These guys are just building this thing like crazy. So what happens is when you're online, you like after you start building a few things, I think these guys are builders as well. Yeah, for instance, here we go. Let's see if we can get something for food. Yeah, I don't know what to get for food currently, but I think I can cut trees for these guys. But once you start figuring it out, like what gets you food, what gets you wood, what gets you stone, and you start building your town up, you'll start getting a resource trickle, essentially. And once you start getting resources, you'll notice that this goes up, so you're obviously getting resources. This is the average rate of food gathered per minute. I find it varies. I don't know if it's like 100% accurate, but when you're offline, this is where the RTS genre comes into play. While you're offline, you're actually getting these resources as well. I think it's at a diminished rate because that would be cheap, but while you're online, you get the full rate for whatever you have currently built. On the side here, we have a chat. You can see that this game is, you know, it's got a decent amount of activity currently just because of the Steam release. It was never like this before, but, you know, I really do hope it increases. So a lot of people are like, what's going on here? Blah, blah, blah. So if you want to chat, there's all these different ways to chat. What's really important, another MMO aspect, is that there's quests. And so it's kind of weird, in RTS genre, there are quests. So you actually take this guy. So let's go to the world map. This is where everything gets really interesting. You go to the world map here, and this is your town. This is your little town. This is my town. So if we click the town, and we go like this here, create an army, we can select our hero and, you know, a couple of units. Okay, so we got a couple Marauders, which I highly suggest you eventually get the full battalion cap. So then we can actually walk this guy around. And you're like, okay, this is a little weird. What's going on here? What are all these towns? These aren't actually players. These are NPC towns. Now, if you go to take this, your army, you click the town, then you click your dude while he's on the town, it'll actually let you go into the towns, or the cities, for instance, and you can actually walk around, you can do some trading with the towns, and it can get really interesting. And you can build alliances, you can build enemies, and you can even build siege camps here. Pitch camp, for instance. You can watch one of my other videos on my elf race for that. And you can see up here, these are all elves. These are the elves. We got the orcs, and then we got humans, I believe, over here. So there are the 3 races on this map, and you're wondering where the actual, you know, co-op comes into play. How do I play against other people really quick? So if we go start PvP, you can actually PvP somebody that's in this area right away. And there are different ways to do this. I mean, for instance, with the MMO aspect of questing, let's say there's a quest over here. You know, sometimes there'll be different things that pop up. So like in the train here, there might be like a little base that you never noticed, and there'll actually be a quest there. So let's say I walk my army over to that quest, and then I hit start quest, and then you get to select the units that go into the quest. Then it'll give you an option for co-op. So instead of going in with the 60 battalion cap, you can go in with a 30 battalion cap and have a co-op partner that is doing the exact same quest with a 30 battalion cap and actually support you, and you guys can work together on that quest, earn the same thing. And you're like, what the heck is the point of questing? So let's say we go back to the home city really quick, and you know, okay, so we have this dude here. See this question mark? You take your hero, which my hero is in that army right now, so I can't do this. I can't select these guys and talk to them. I have to have my hero specifically. When I come back in, take the hero, I talk to this dude, he'll say, oh, congratulations, you've done this, and you talk with him, and you'll say a bunch of things, and then he'll give you a reward, and that's the point of questing, and you get wealth. Quests are really big for wealth, and you're wondering what wealth is for. When you look at the market here, you can get tons of things for wealth. You can get gold, cannons, you know, units. Watch some of my other videos on the elf race, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Right off the bat, you can see we got 0.1. We're now starting to get a little bit of food. We're starting to increase that food gathering rate. Well, I mean, that's very small, because I'm talking, you know, I'm getting almost 1,000 gold an hour, or a minute, sorry, on my elf race. So this gives you guys a little bit of an idea of what's happening in this game. There are forums. It's pretty simplistic. I'll show you guys really briefly here of us entering the city and the different options that will appear when you do that. So this is the city. This is an NPC. You can see we can enter the city, diplomacy, goods market. This is where you trade things. You can buy units here. The training grounds, they'll actually train you, increase your units. This is where the MMO aspect comes into play. You know, you can pay whatever to increase your hero's level. They'll train you, but that costs gold. So if you have a big economy, you can do that, but sometimes it can get really expensive. I'll show you guys really quickly of us actually entering the city, and I'll go through, you know, what the quest will look like when you have to enter cities. So first off, you know, there'll be a big question mark over the actual NPC town / city. First off, and that makes you know that, okay, I got a quest here. So then you actually enter the city. Okay, look at this city. It's a booming city. Eventually, you can actually get cities that look just like this. That's after, you know, you build up your town, and there are tons of features. Eventually, it costs wealth to build your walls and stuff. So we're walking in here. We'll probably talk to this dude really quick.
I have strength.
Oh, look at this town. It's booming, right? So there's a training ground. Let's say there'll be like a king guy, somebody that's higher up, and you'll talk to him. You'll have a question mark over his head. So this is where the MMO environment comes into play. And at the same time, you have the RTS element still running, where you're getting the gathering rates at your hometown. So it's kind of interesting, very intriguing. As you can see here, you can eventually get ogres, and are those considered ogres? Yeah, they are ogres. And you can fill up your walls and stuff. So this gives you guys a good idea of what to expect in this game. The only way you'll really know in the end is if you buy it. I mean, $24.99 or whatever the price is, that's a small price tag for a game today. And I mean, for Reverie World Studios, an indie games company, they're not paying me to say this, but I truly believe in indie games companies, and this game has it. It's a very unique game. I recommend it, guys. If you have any questions, I'll answer. I just can't fit it all in this video, and I do apologize for that. And I do recommend you check out different gold gathering guides and stuff I have, and I'll have more videos out soon. Please like it, share it, love it, support it, and that's basically all, guys. Like it if you like it, dislike it. See you guys in the next one. Peace.